You ever on the couch watching a show that you want to watch or just finish, or a movie your friend recommended, or just doom scrolling away, and suddenly you've been hit by a truck of this awareness of the amount of time you had since you were born, your whole existence, and you realize that this week, this month, or even year has just flown in. Then there's dread of humans' limited lifespan and the fear of how fast life is moving when you don't even want it to, an awareness of you sneakily getting closer to death. I would feel this a lot when I have a period of being really busy, either being from studying the law, hanging out with loved ones, or having a hyper fixation on something and learning and doing everything about it. Once that's over and I have a lot more free time, less things to keep me distracted, I get this realization how quick my time flew in without me realizing or feeling the week or feeling the 48 or 100 hours I've legit just lived through. What only felt like moments ago. It scares me a little how that is possible. Why can my brain erase that much time to make it feel only a second when I know in reality it wasn't? How how does it feel like I haven't lived that week, you know? And of course, I'm quite lucky that I say this for a positive thing, like doing your hobbies, seeing loved ones, or a less stress activity. But as we get older, with full-time jobs like our older siblings and parents, a lot of time is going to slip through your fingers. A third or more of your day is spent evolved around your job. Depending on your profession, you're in one particular spot and can be brain numbing. Could say the same for school, but at least it's less time and only lasts for a while compared to an adult life in your lifespan. It's only 18 years altogether or 16, depending where you are. I'm going 20, and I feel so old saying this, but a huge factor I believe that causes this fast life issue is our phones. Doom scrolling for hours, scrolling on forums of topics, or playing a mobile game. Gen Z, I believe, are the best era for a time in having not a lot of technology growing up, then having it advance while we grew up and able to learn how to utilize it and not so much easily consumed by it. Gen Alpha are cooked, with parents taking the easy way out and giving their children iPads to shut them up and give them some peace and quiet. Millennials and our parents have the ability to not get consumed by it because they never, well, apart from millennials, our parents never really grew up on it. Their adulthood is when they were showcased it. But if they do, they're on similar boats as us, but not the awareness of social media or how much knowledge and insight we have as Gen Z and millennials. Our parents are a bit technology illiterate. Scrolling on social media is used as a coping mechanism and comfort tool away from the world. To completely shut off your brain or forget. You get hit reel after reel, a surge of different emotions in a short burst. You could be watching a reel, a cute dog video. The next is some guy and how he got killed in this factory. I feel like everyone saw that video or reel. Scroll another one. It's an old man getting interviewed grieving over his recently dead wife, which is so sad. But a normal human shouldn't be consuming that much emotional stimulation in one sitting. It desensitizes you with empathy and with emotions and lead to mental health, which is a whole different topic. My point is, your time should be intentional. It's supposed to be used by you and not for you. Scrolling on reels endlessly is different than watching a reel a friend sent you. Watching a random show on Netflix because you're bored is different than watching a show because you have been wanting to watch it. Once you give your time for a group or another person, without your attention or without your will, that's when you no longer own your own time. And that's why it goes by fast. As you get older, it is natural for time to go fast. Apart from what you usually hear, like, oh, you have more responsibilities, like a house, your family, jobs, bills, slaving away to your job you hate because that's what being an adult is. And welcome to reality. The usual, like, your grandpa or like parents say to you. But some of what they say is true. But this perception of time, I'm going to tell you, is something everyone will go through no matter your position. If you're the most happiest, saddest, or richest person alive. As we were kids growing up, everything is new. There's new things, new experience, waiting legit outside your bedroom door. Only because you were born only recently into this world. So it makes sense why. But your brain as a child into being a teenager retains all the new stuff you experience. And for your lifespan so far, It's quite a lot to have. But when you get older, maybe late 20s or 30s, you will have less. Naturally, because you did a lot of things since you were a teenager and child. With less new experience as you get older, maybe from a routine you were doing and through habits rooted into you that you do day to day, your brain fills it out because it ain't nothing new. Your brain knows how used it is to retain how you made your cup of coffee for the 788th time compared to remembering the first few times, or ways you messed it up in a funny way. In some ways, it's good because if you remember the 788th time, then you'll have to remove other, maybe more important memories to make space for this useless thing to remember. As well, with age, you have more time and experience under your belt. For a 10-year-old, 5 years is half of their life, but for a 50-year-old is only a tenth of their life. How they view time for both parties would differ because their time perception. A 50-year-old has too much things to remember over 50 years compared to a 10-year-old, or like 5 years. For 5 years, it's so much easier for a 10-year-old because that is half of their life. While I'm repeating, but 50 years is only 5 years, and depending how long ago that 5 year period is, it's going to be so much less to remember vividly about it. So your brain will have to fill out a lot of things, which is good to keep valuable memories, but it creates time moving faster for that individual. It's like there is a curve. As a teenager, your time goes really fast, like 20s, and then after 30s, it stagnates, and as you get older, time just flies in. You're in a daily routine. You have more responsibility. As soon as you have children, it's just go, go, go. So I would suggest having a diary to record your times and events and your feelings. Writing something small like a beautiful bird or a particular topic you and your mom was having. Because if the action is small, easy to commit to. So even a line to write, 2 lines about your day, no matter how boring or uninteresting. It could be, oh, I seen this guy, he was wearing a wacky hat down the street 5 minutes away from my house. Like just something so small. Or that can lead to you writing more, like your feelings, how you feel, or this pressure looming down. Like I've recently been writing my diary or journal about like really overthinking about my future. But it's really nice because I can look back on that 10 years down the line. I'm like, oh, damn. Look at what past me was into. Like, what was he doing on this specific day? What was his goals? And it's just because you're a totally different person. Even 2 years down the line, you're a whole different person. In doing that, committing to it, future you will thank you for recording the present, no matter how small, so they can remember a particular day. It helps be present and remember a moment of the day, which helps ground you with you and time. If writing ain't your style, do it on your phone. Do voice recordings or videos or take pictures of the day. Or maybe draw a moment. That is something some artists do. I sometimes do it and it's fun. It'd just be so nice to look back on one day and to remember past you. I feel as well, on time moving so fast, we lost a skill kids used to have. Maybe not Gen Alpha, but the ability to be bored. If you were bored as a kid, that was hell. Satan was trying to kill you with that. Because you can't play games or go outside or do your hobbies, and you only have to sit there in the house doing nothing. Of course, you could do your homework, but fuck that. Time felt so slow when you were bored and made time fly by when you were doing something you want or just doing something because it was stimulating and you were grateful you got it because you're not sitting there on your bed looking on the ceiling for 5 hours. You're not counting I forgot what it's called, but the bumps on the ceiling if you guys have that. As you get older, of course, teenage people do this all the time. While you commute or walk or do chores, you listen to something. Maybe music, podcasts or YouTube video. I'm guilty. I do YouTube video and podcasts. And I feel like to a certain degree, it's useful because, you're bored while walking. You have to listen to something you like or it's interesting. But I feel it gets away in the present. You don't really want to observe the flowers or people around you. Of course, it could be dangerous. Someone can be following you. There's stalkers that like look for people wearing headsets because it will be harder to hear. But apart from that, it takes away from the present. You can't. You're not in the present. You're observing everything because you're in your own head. Sometimes, for me at least, I forget I'm listening to the podcast music or anything. I'm just in my whole head thinking about my day or other things. But for others, it helps a lot more get out of their head. But I think sometimes it'd be nice to. I sometimes do it, and I think other people should do it. Just don't listen to anything and just walk. Like if you're walking to a friend's house, walking to job, walking for fun, just don't listen to anything. Like have that silence and be present. Being bored desensitizes you from a crazy amount of stimulation we get every minute, especially from screens, social media, just and YouTube videos. Like they all of it evolves around extreme emotions. Like you see thumbnails, you see videos, how they start. It's like clickbait, you know. It's trying to string on your emotions and get that click, trying to get you entertained. Cause I'm not gonna lie, this video it's not very stimulating. There's not gonna be a lot of cuts. It's not gonna be a bunch of clips every second, you know, like Mr. Beast. But I don't care for that, you know. I just want to make these videos to look back on, and maybe someone else listens to. I don't know. Depends the scenario you're in or the situation you're in. But if you're listening, thank you. But it's almost a skill to not give your time in such a. It's easy to get roped into these things. It's so easy to click a video because it has an interesting thumbnail and interesting editing, but the actual content is boring, you know? It forces you to feel slow and lackluster, where I think we need maybe 5 or 10 minutes of nothing, not even calming music or a conversation with someone, doing absolutely nothing, because you'll be grateful for things. It puts respect for your time towards something you value, like your family or loved ones, and trains you to learn how valuable your time actually is, and makes you respect it. Do not give it away so easily to doom scrolling, or you click on a clickbait video, or however I feel like everyone knows if they're really not valuing their time. You know, I think it's different for different situations, but you know if you are. But I would suggest to be aware of how you're using your time. I'm not trying to be those productive junkies. We're not wasting a second of your time in something useless and make money and be always productive, always improve, you know? But be aware how intentional you are with giving your one and only non-refundable time you have towards things. Towards family, friends, your partner, your job, and your free time. Especially time in your own head. That can be tricky, but you shouldn't run away from it. Try to record small things in your life, no matter how boring you feel it is, because a human life is so interesting. You're just being a little meaniehead to yourself. And lastly, try new things. No matter how small it is, it can be a new route to the shop you usually go to, or brush your teeth for a week with the opposite hand. You don't need to go on a holiday to make time feel slower, or worthwhile, or something to remember. Try one small thing every day, or every week. Not every day is something new, but sometimes boring days are needed. Alright, thank you so much for listening. See you in a bit.